Hello people of YouTube, Rich from PCGamesN here, and a little over a month ago I got to play with the Tomb Kings, who are coming to Total War Warhammer 2 on the 23rd of January. There are 9 books of Nagash, so there are 9 things that I spotted about them. Number 1, they pay no upkeep and have no recruitment cost. So in one of the more creative of the varied strategic mechanics that Creative Assembly's Warhammer races exhibit, Tomb King units cost no gold to recruit and no gold to maintain. Instead, there is a cap on how many you can field in your empire at once. You'll raise this cap by building copies of the relevant recruitment building. Want more Tomb Guard? You'll need to build another Royal Barracks. Other races, of course, can have just one copy of a given recruitment building in their whole empire and recruit unlimited numbers of its troops through the global pool. Tomb Kings, on the other hand, will need several copies to field more than a couple of high-end units at once. This obviously puts a lot more pressure on your building slots. The only exceptions are Skeleton Spearmen and Skeleton Warriors. These have no cap and are unlocked through the Tier 1 town building. And since they still cost you nothing, their recruitment time is now literally the only barrier to running 20-stack armies right from the start of the game. This is probably why, number 2, gold income is very low. I guess all their wealth is buried in their pyramids because Tomb Kings do not have much in the way of liquidity. Gold income from towns, taxes and trade is much weaker compared to other races. For example, just 130 per turn was coming into my coffers at the start of my campaign. Unfortunately, your buildings cost as much as any other races, and there's also plenty to spend on in the Mortuary cult, which we'll get to in a minute. So even though you're saving on recruitment and upkeep, gold is almost as important to you as anyone else. In lieu of other sources then, you'll want to do plenty of raiding, sacking and questing in order to get your hands on it. But there's another catch. Number 3, armies have a cap as well. Unlike other races, the Tomb Kings can't just hire a new lord whenever they feel like it. The number of armies you can field at one time is capped, much like your units, and you can only increase it through the Mortuary cult or through the tech tree. The Tomb King tech tree represents their ancient dynasties. You have a choice of 6 dynasties to research, each of which will increase your army capacity by 1 and unlock some bonus techs that will buff particular units or tactics. Dynasties will also unlock a faction-wide proclamation to support your income and a powerful lord, whom you can recruit with canopic jars, your unique currency. In my hands-on time, I went for Wakaf of the First Dynasty, who gets plus 8 melee attack in desert terrain, plus 10% range for all missile units, plus 16 charge bonus, plus 20% ambush success, and the stalk attribute. So he's pretty powerful. In a clever twist, however, researching each dynasty will slow your overall research rate by 10%, which puts a gentle brake on the speed at which you can expand your armies. Your other option is to buy a new army slot at the Mortuary cult. There's a recycling icon on the button to do this, which I helpfully forgot to mouse over, but I would assume that that indicates it's a repeatable ability. The trouble is, at 10,000 gold and 750 canopic jars, it's very expensive. Anyway, yeah, we were going to talk about the Mortuary cult, which will be thing number 4. Thing number 4, the Mortuary cult, as advertised. Representing the order of Nehekaran Lich Priests, the Mortuary cult will let you craft magic items and Legions of Legend, which are kind of like Regiments of Renown, as well as buying army slots. Doing so will cost gold, canopic jars and trade resources, like marble and gems. Legendary quality weapons take 500 jars and 4 different trade resources, for instance. Personally, I really like this system, as right now magic items in the game feel like annoying notifications to dismiss when they drop after a battle. But by giving me something to aim for and to work towards, the Mortuary cult makes me much more invested in magic items, kind of like the Legendary Lord's quest chains. Number 5, the Tomb King campaign is about the Black Pyramid, not the Great Vortex. So here's a quick lore note. Nagash was a megalomaniac priest from the days when the Tomb Kings were human. He invented the magic of necromancy after torturing a dark elf sorceress that he'd captured, and nearly bankrupted his kingdom of Khemri, building a massive black pyramid which was capable of focusing the winds of magic and thus increasing his powers. Total Warhammer 2's vanilla campaign sees the Great Vortex at the heart of Ulthuan disturbed by a magical comet, but the Tomb Kings don't care about the elves' silly little plug hole. They care instead that the comet has also reawakened the Black Pyramid, and it's the goal of the Tomb Kings campaign to take control of it. Your main objective is to collect 5 of the 9 books of Nagash, each of which are either carried by a powerful rogue army or held in distant or well-protected settlements, such as the White Tower of Hoeth. Collecting any one of these books will thus be a major undertaking, and it'll be interesting to see how it compares with completing a Vortex ritual from a pacing standpoint. Excitingly, each book will also confer powerful bonuses, like enabling the recruitment of certain vampire count units, boosting army and unit capacities, conjuring sandstorms after conquering settlements, and so on. Besides gathering the 5 books, you also need to take the pyramid itself from a hostile garrison army that includes Ushabti and Tombguard. Then you need to upgrade its building chain to level 5 and win a final battle there. We imagine this might be similar to the final battle for the Isle of the Dead in the Vortex campaign. Number 6, tomb swarms are finally becoming a thing. So there's a type of unit in the tabletop game that's been missing from the digital version so far, and that's swarms. These are large numbers of small critters who overwhelm enemies through sheer numbers, even more so than the Skaven. Swarms generally put out lots of weak attacks and don't run, since they're too unintelligent for psychology. Thus they work well as tar pits to pin enemies in place while positioning for a flank charge. Lots of armies are supposed to have them. Skaven, for instance, should have rat swarms, while lizardmen should have jungle swarms, and Tomb Kings should have tomb swarms, which are clearly inspired by the scary masses of scarabs in the Mummy movies. You'll have to pardon me again for not mousing over it, awkward, but tomb swarms are now coming to the game via an army ability that's unlocked by a Tomb King right. Perhaps we'll see other swarms come to other armies at some point soon, but as long as we're talking about Tomb King rights, check out the Casket of Souls, a piece of powerful magical artillery that literally throws the souls of dead enemies back at them, as well as this other one here that can conjure sandstorms to smother all regions belonging to you. Number 7, the Realm of Souls. So much like the Dark Elves' murderous prowess, the Tomb Kings get their own battle mechanic, only theirs comes in 3 tiers. The Realm of Souls confers regeneration on the entire Tomb King's army, and each tier will cause the effect to last longer. Much like Murderous Prowess, the Realm of Souls fills up as things die, but unlike with the Dark Elves, it's Tomb King casualties that will charge it up, rather than enemy deaths. Number 8, the Law of Nehekara. So, as you might expect, the Tomb Kings get a new law of magic, the Law of Nehekara. It's great for buffs, debuffs, and heals, but has less to offer when it comes to direct damage. Here's a closer look. Incantation of Cursed Blades is a nice augment which adds general weapon damage as well as anti-large and armor-piercing damage. If you prefer your archers, Incantation of Righteous Smiting is a similar spell for them. The rest of the first group of spells is filled out by a ward save and a trap spell that has a chance to inflict damage, whereas the second group offers a crippling combat debuff and a vortex. Note in particular the lore attribute, the Restless Dead, which will heal and resurrect your troops whenever your mage is casting any other spell and has a map-wide range, thus reflecting the importance of magic in sustaining the undead. Just like with the vampire counts then, you'll want to kill the Tomb King priests to dramatically weaken the army. And finally, number 9, the roster is almost complete. So, as far as I've been able to tell so far, the only unit that's actually missing from the Tomb King's DLC compared to their 8th edition army book is the Necrolith Colossus, known in previous editions of the tabletop game as a Bone Giant. Otherwise, all the army's units are here that should be, and Creative Assembly have even invented 2 new ones to fill in the unit tier between Skeleton Infantry and Tombguard. Specifically, they are Nehekaran Warriors and Nehekaran Horsemen. We even get all 4 lords from the 8th edition book in the form of legendary lords. And there we are, 9 things I learned about the Tomb Kings. This is a script for the Weekend Escape. It's nothing to do with this video. We hope you found that helpful. Leave us a like if you did, and why not consider subscribing? Elsewhere on our YouTube channel, you'll find the unedited gameplay footage that you've seen here, as well as an interview with the devs. And there's plenty more PC gaming goodness on our channel and on our website, so consider checking that out too. Thanks very much for watching, as always, and until we see you next time, take good care.